everything around me. Green, get the money, dollar bill, yo.
What's up, guys? Got some more Crowfall action for you today. In this video, I'm going to be talking about changes I would like to see made to Crowfall. I'm not going to be talking about things that I know for a fact are being changed. Client performance we know is being worked on, and we also know more character customization is being worked on. So things like that I know are coming, I'm not going to address. This video is going to be addressing things that the developers haven't talked about or things that I think will be future problems. So let's get into it. Number one, trading with other players in this game is far too difficult. In my opinion, there is no reason to restrict trading to guilds or factions or any of that. If you are in a temple, or if you are in any sort of zone or area where players are neutral to you, you should be able to trade with them. There should be no sort of faction restrictions, no sort of guild restrictions, none of that. Trade, even if you could openly trade, still trading is really damn hard in this game. And I think any sort of way to make trading easier is going to improve the game for everybody, because it'll make gear more accessible to people that don't have a gear pipeline. It'll make the merchants happier because they can actually sell stuff. I mean, I've been trying to sell stuff, and it's tough. I mean, I'm having a little bit of success, but it's tough to find buyers because people don't know what you're selling, and it's rough. It really is rough, so I would like to see that, at least open up the trades to anybody, and you should be able to trade anybody you want in the temples and in the free city. It makes no sense why you can't. I would also like to see some sort of tag system, or maybe even a description for your Eternal Kingdom. Let's say you could add a big description to your Eternal Kingdom. So let's say you click on the Kingdom of Zybac, right? And in my description of my Eternal Kingdom, I can list all my wares. All the things I'm selling, I can just type it out, list it. Great. Now, you could use the search box for the Eternal Kingdoms and search the descriptions of everybody's Eternal Kingdom. So, let's say I was selling a first aid manual. Anybody looking for a first aid manual could just type in first aid manual in the kingdom search and see if anybody had it listed. Now, I know they don't want to do a full-blown auction house because they want some degree of, like, people creating their own markets and their own marketplaces and consistency, and you know that this guy makes the good weapons and armor, but I think some degree of discoverability would be great, because right now it's a complete shit show. You go into random kingdoms and you just sort of hope they're selling stuff. You have no idea if they're selling stuff. You have no idea if the vendors are full or empty, or you have no idea. You just have to go from kingdom to kingdom to kingdom, hope they're selling good shit. They're probably not. They probably don't have the thing you need. You have no idea if they do or they don't. And the kingdoms don't stay online. Now, I know that's something that they're addressing in the future, where kingdoms will stay online longer. It'll probably be a VIP feature, I imagine. So that is coming. But I think some degree of discoverability when it comes to players trying to sell items, some sort of way to billboard your items. Maybe it's a gold sync. Maybe you can put a billboard up that players can search, and that costs, I don't know, so much gold per day. Something like that. I think something like that would be great. Maybe don't make it free. Maybe make it a gold sync. Gold syncs are always good for games like this. But it's something like that. Please, something. Number 2, 2,500 man / uncapped guild alliances. Now, we have not had a campaign with guild alliances yet, so I might be doomsaying, and I might be saying the sky is falling, and it's not actually falling. I hope so. I hope I'm totally wrong on this. But I do think that these giant guild alliances are going to be a serious problem for the game, especially with the alliances being limited to 5 guilds. Number one, the obvious problem of uncapped alliances or just massive alliances is that it just encourages zerging. It just encourages flat out to be a big guild because there's really no incentive not to be. And did a whole video on the scoring about that, about how per player cards don't really matter if you're trying to win the whole thing, and largely it's better to be big. So that's an obvious issue. Number 2, it really kills mid-size guilds. Being a mid-size guild in this sort of environment means that you're really not getting anything. You're not getting the per player stuff, and you're not getting the big stuff because the big guys are just going to bully you. So being a mid-size guild, not great. I really foresee this 2,500 uncapped. It's very strange that the 5 guild cap on alliances is certainly strange, because that's really going to isolate the smaller guilds. Because let's say you're trying to make as powerful of an alliance as possible. Why would you accept a small guild into your alliance? Why? Like, why are you ever going to accept a 20-man guild into your alliance when that's a waste of a slot? It flat out is. Why would you accept a 20-man guild when you can get a 100-man guild? Like, there's really, a lot of people say, oh, the small guilds can band together and take on the big guys. Like, not really, dude. Not when there's a 5 guild cap. It'll just honestly kill the smaller guilds because nobody's going to want to take a chance on a small guild and waste their slot on a small guild when they can just pick up a bigger guild and they don't waste a slot. Now, obviously, if there was unlimited slots, that wouldn't be an issue, but that is not the case. Number 3, and this is a pretty big one. The game is still largely determined by who can log the most guys on at Siege Hour. Not necessarily who has the biggest guild, but let's say the Siege Hour is at 9 p.m. Eastern. The game is decided largely, in terms of points, who can log in the most people at 9 p.m. and participate in the Siege Hour. That is, in my opinion, way too much of the scoring happens due to the consequence of that. I think that it needs to be divided up some. I think that off-hour stuff should be skewed a little differently. I do think that primetime PvP should still be the majority, but I think that balance is a little wrong. I think that just having the most people that log on for Siege Hour and then log off, that's far too powerful. You need to have more of a presence in the world all of the time to win than you currently have to. And that goes in my next point. Wealth cards need to involve more than buildings, because right now the wealth cards are effectively Conquest Siege cards. The wealth cards involve the wealth cards are basically who can build up the most crap in their keeps and in their forts, which largely means whoever has the most keeps and forts wins that. So I think the wealth cards maybe don't need to involve building stuff at all, or at least split it up. I think that a winter card to whichever guild sacrifices the most gold wins that wealth card. Just get the wealth cards out of the buildings. Building things at the forts and keeps should not exclusively be the wealth card or the wealth objective, because I do think that it's putting way too much weight into primetime sieging. And for my last thing, I would like to see some daily objectives. I know a lot of people cringe when they hear dailies, but I do think some sort of daily objective that maybe doesn't even contribute to winning the campaign would be good. Let's say you could earn, 3 exports by doing some sort of quest where it's, John wants 25 centaur heads, and if you turn 25 centaur heads into John, then he'll give you 3 extra export slots that you can use immediately. Like something like that. I think some sort of daily objective where it's breaking up the monotony of the seasonal cards would be very good. Also, it drives PvP. If you're going after 25 centaur heads, guess what? So is everybody else. So now the centaur camp today is going to be a crazy PvP objective. So I think that kind of stuff will be great for the game. Also, this is not my idea, but flashcards. Now, I think that's a brilliant name for what this is. Flashcards, mini objectives that come up for a day that maybe award, 1 divine favor point or something like that. Like a very, very small amount of divine favor, but very small mini objectives that break up the monotony of the big objectives. Because right now we've had fairly quick campaigns, but if we have like a month-long campaign or a 2-month-long campaign and you have the same objectives for 2 whole weeks, that sucks. Especially if you're in a situation where the cards don't exactly roll in your favor and there's not a ton you can do to participate in those cards for these 2 weeks. Like that fucking sucks. So I think having, mini objectives that come up every day, and maybe you get a mini objective you like and you go for it, maybe you don't, but just something that sort of breaks it up and something that gets you to log into the game, even if you get a set of cards that your guild isn't going to do well on, or maybe sometimes you get a set of cards where you've just got them down, like you just know you're going to win them, so it's like, we got this, like why even bother? So I think some breaking up these objectives and getting some more just very temporary things going on, I think would help the game and give it some more, and make it a little fresher, because man, if you have sent a sacrifice Iroquois artifacts for 2 weeks straight, dude, that's gonna suck. Nobody wants to do that for 2 weeks straight, and that'd be the only thing. But if that's a 2-week objective, and there's also some other little mini things coming up, and some flashcards, and some daily quests that you're doing, and some other stuff on the side, but that's still the primary objective, or one of the primary objectives, it's far more palatable than that being the only thing for 2 weeks. So, anyway, flashcards, those are all my ideas that that I haven't really heard them talk about or address. Let me know what you guys think. I'm sure I've left out a ton of stuff. I'm sure I've even said tons of stuff that I'd like to see changed, but these are just the things that I wrote down in the 10 minutes I thought about this video for. So I'm sure you guys have some great suggestions. Let me know in the comments down below what you would change, or little things that you would do. Because I'm sure you guys have some great stuff. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. If you're interested in Crowfall, be sure to sign up with my link in the description down below. You sign up with that link, you will get into the beta for free. The free beta, you'll probably have to wait a little bit for, because there's a ton of people ahead of you if you signed up now. But you can buy into the beta immediately. So if you sign up with that link and you buy a package, you can immediately play. But you don't have to. You can wait. Whatever. Might as well sign up. Might as well sign up and get your spot in line. Check it out. So anyway, hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one.